Yes. Yeah. K-Love on demand. How about this? Comedy on K-Love. Hey, Chris Tomlin and Forrest Frank, we'll take it from here. That's right. Your services are no longer needed. You guys have been a lot of fun. I'm going to tell you this last story, and I'll get out of here. I need you to know, this last story, it's a true story. I'm not going to change anything in this story to make it seem more incredible than what it really is. And I think it's a great example of how we love to plan out our lives. We got it all figured out, our 1-year plan, our 5-year plan, our 10-year plan. And then God will come along and be like, yeah, we're not going to be doing any of that. And if you've ever experienced that, you know it can be overwhelming and it can be intimidating, but we also know that the plans that he has for us are good. And so 13 years ago, my wife came home from work, and she worked at a daycare at the time, and she goes, we need to talk. Now, as a veteran of the husband community, I know that we need to talk is never followed by anything good. We need to talk has never been followed by, you need to be watching more football. It's never that. But she begins telling me about this little boy at our daycare, and she talked about him before. A little boy named Keegan. He was 3 years old. He was in a tough situation, getting passed around, single teen mom. And on this particular day, Keegan's mom tells my wife that she is going to have to go back to jail and that she's going to put Keegan into the foster care system. And then my wife just stopped talking. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, I think we should adopt him. Now, I wish this wasn't true, but an alarm of no's just went off in my head. It was just no. At the time, we already had 4 kids at the time. We were paycheck to paycheck, right? We didn't have an extra spot for him. It was just no. But surprisingly, none of that came out of my mouth. What came out of my mouth was, I can tell this is important to you. Why don't we get the kids settled, right, for dinner, and we'll go out to eat, and you can tell me what's on your heart. And I know some of you were thinking, well, that was the Holy Spirit working right there. But it wasn't. The truth is, I love to eat out. And I saw this as a perfect excuse to go eat out. And I wanted a public place to tell her no. Sorry. So we get the kids settled, and we get in the car. I live in Lexington, Kentucky, and if you've ever been to Lexington, we have more restaurants per capita than any city in America. They're always packed. Apparently, nobody in Lexington can cook. And my wife let me pick the restaurant, and so I picked Johnny Carino's. So I'm not sure if you've ever been to Johnny Carino's before. Nothing too fancy. It's a chain Italian restaurant, but at Johnny Carino's, they bring out this bread. Let me tell you about this bread. It's unbelievable. Somebody just went, yes. That is the correct response, ma'am. Here's what I do at Johnny Carino's. I should be embarrassed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you. This is the only restaurant I do this at, is that they bring out the bread, and I eat all the bread. And then they go, do you want more bread? And I say yes, and I eat all that bread. And then when I know I can eat no more bread, and the server goes, do you want more bread? I say yes. So I can take it home and eat it later. And I know I shouldn't do that, but I always do it. I'm never not going to do it. I love that bread. So we get to Johnny Carino's. It's packed, of course. And we get seated in the middle of the restaurant. Our server comes up. She's very bubbly. Hi, my name's Shannon. I'll be taking care of you today. She goes, let me get your drink started. And then she asks, do you want me to bring you out any bread? And in my head, I'm thinking, Shannon, you need to just open with the bread. Are there people saying no to the bread? If so, bring us their bread. But I didn't say any of that. We gave her our drink orders, and I'm like, yeah, I guess we'll try the bread. You're going to twist my arm, Buckle up, Shannon. So she leaves, and now my wife's sitting across from me, and she's been real silent the whole night. I'll never forget it. She was twirling her spoon, and she was in deep thought, maybe even deep prayer, I don't know. But I can tell you, there was no combination of words that she could have said that would make me think that this was the right plan for our family. And right before she began to speak, she whipped around and looked behind her, and she looked back at me, and she turned white as a sheet. It looked like she'd just seen a ghost. And she turns around again, and she looks back at me again, and now she has tears in her eyes. And I'm like, what is the matter? And she goes, Shawn, do you see that older couple sitting behind us? I'm like, yeah. She goes, do you see the little boy at the table with them? I go, yeah. She goes, Shawn, that little boy is Keegan. I kid you not, at the exact moment, at the exact place, and at the exact location inside that place that we chose to sit down and talk about this little boy and how he may or may not fit into our plans, I kid you not, he was sitting 5 feet behind us. And now my wife is just bawling at the table. And she's like, say something. She's like, what is happening right now? And so I just reached across the table and I squeezed that hand that was twirling that spoon. And I said, I think what's happening right now is that Shannon has forgot about our bread. I mean, is she back there making it from scratch? My wife and I, we didn't speak this entire meal. Everybody around us for sure thought we were fighting. And we did not discuss adopting Keegan, mostly because he was sitting 5 feet behind us, but also because sometimes God comes into your life and he reveals the plans that he has for you, and the plans are very, very good. And so my wife and I, we left that restaurant that night with 2 very important things. 1, we left with a bag of that bread. Nothing will stop me. And 2, we left knowing that somehow, some way, God had a plan for us, and we were going to have a 5th child in our family. In fact, in the middle of the meal, I leaned over and I snapped a quick picture of him, and I slid my phone over to my wife, and I go, check it out. It's the ultrasound picture. Surprise, we're having a boy. Hey, I'm Shawn Reynolds. Thank you guys so much for coming out today. Thank you.